On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what one. A blessed and wonderful Friday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we are going in Jamaica. So watch your snow, my peeps, to the name Friday, the day when Mr. Smile upon some of the ones that wants them pocket. So whilst you're out there traversing these streets from Moran Point to the Grill Point, safe travel, pan the gravel, and continuously look out on the corner, yeah, cause the old dirty corner boy them always out there. Alerts, yeah man. So in yesterday morning's set of stories, I made mention that the Spanish Town Police had 3 fatal knockings and clappings in separate incidents. Now we are here to confirm same as facts. Yeah man. So 3 less dirty kind of boy who was out there lurking, Ghana Shotai country land, no longer among the land of the living. Now the police from St. Catherine stated that 3 of St. Catherine's most dangerous criminal elements were taken out by them in separate and coordinated operations in the parish. So all 3 incidents occurred on Wednesday in the span of 20 minutes. Yeah man. Now the first incident involved a criminal element whom the police describe as one of the most ruthless extortionists in St. Catherine. He is Craig Ledford, otherwise known as ChuckUp. Yeah man. Now this is the criminal element presently on your screen. So the police, them F up, ChuckUp. Now Ledford, Craig Ledford aka ChuckUp, was taken out in a hail of bullets by the police sometime around 5:40 a.m. The police stated that 1 firearm was seized following that particular confrontation. It's understood that ChuckUp was a person of interest in the 2024 Cherry Tree Lane massacre in Clarendon, cause I really don't the same kind of base to more time, you know. So my time to him there sentence also. So it's a criminal element where float all boat, but he's said to be a top tier member also in the Klansman gang. Yeah man. And he was taken out by the police in the De La Vega City community. Now the second confrontation occurred moments later, sometime around 5:50 a.m. Now that criminal element has since been identified as Jason O'Shane Bryan, but them call him Nose. The police them name him food and broke the plate round a one place known as Fisheries or New Nursery in the parish of St. Catherine. A firearm was also seized. Now that criminal element known as Nose has been on the police wanted and person of interest list in regards to several knockings and clappings and fatal knockings and clappings that was carried out allegedly by him in the parish. He was also wanted in connection with the seizure of an illegal firearm. According to the police, this isn't their first time going after the criminal element identified as Bryan O'Shane Bryan aka Nose. He is also reportedly a family member of the known era Don for the new nursery community known as Bubba Sparks. Now, Bubba Sparks is presently incarcerated overseas, but him carry out any little thing where Bubba Sparks say him to do from overseas. Yeah, man. Now, the third fatal knockings and clappings took place over there in the Damhead district in the parish of St. Catherine. Now, that criminal element has since been identified as Joseph Dixon, but them call him Bwoizy. Now, he was cut down in a hail of bullets and a firearm seized. Now, Bwoizy, ChuckUp and Nose adds to the tally, and now it stands at 173 fatal knockings and clappings in alleged confrontation with the police since the start of the year. Now, I'm pretty sure that many of the ones them probably wonder how the police them manage to move from one place and go to the other and slap a tree. Well, let me clear up that phone and I saw it go. So in regards to the 3 fatal knockings and clappings, are 3 different operations. 3 different set of police and soldiers go to the 3 different places, and it just so happened that the 3 criminal element them take on the 3 different set of police and soldier and get themselves ClapWeh. So it go. So I know one set of police and soldier moving from one place to the other and carry out all of the dirt. Yeah, man. Now the next thing that we're gonna talk about, my peeps. Now a man end up get charged with the loss of life of a 17-year-old in a St. Andrew. Now detectives of the criminal investigation branch have made a breakthrough in the fatality of a 17-year-old in the St. Andrew South Police Division. Now, 27-year-old Rohan Denton, otherwise known as Baby Ro, of a Metcalf Street address, was charged by the police for the fatality of Saeed Mitchell, otherwise known as Brother, also of a Metcalf Street address. Now, the 17-year-old was fatally taken out in a hail of bullets on the 15th of November 2024, sometime around 8:40 p.m. at the intersection of Ashley Road and Burke Road in Kingston 13. Investigators reported that on the night in question, the accused man in the company of others traveling in a motor car drove up and stopped in the vicinity of the 17-year-old who was standing among a group of people along Ashley Road. Now, the accused criminal element we are talking about Rohan Denton, otherwise known as Baby Ro, allegedly alighted from a motor car armed with a firearm and approached the teen, knocking it and clapping it upon him multiple times all over the upper body and head before making good escape in the waiting motor vehicle. The wounded teen was transported to the Kingston Public Hospital by citizens, where he was pronounced you know what. Investigations stated that the accused criminal element was out on bail in another case of knockings and clappings at the police. He was taken back into custody whilst reporting on condition of bail on July 12. He was then charged with the fatal knockings and clappings of the teen based on eyewitness statement. Now, I want to see why the police them for just slap with them boy as they get a chance. This brother here knocking it and clapping it pan police. Police wall him, carry him before the courts give him bail, and him come back out same way with him corner boy mentality, and now him murder the 17-year-old. We don't know for sure who the 17-year-old was or what is his involvement, if any, but one thing we know for sure, he's no longer among the land of the living. Now a man end up lose 3 pints up in a stone hill in a St. Andrew there, so yesterday morning. Now the man in question has since been identified by his first name as Rohan. Now that knockings and clappings took place sometime around 7:30 along Seaview Road in the Constant Spring policing area. Now he is said to be the younger brother of Arville Denny, otherwise known as Marvin, who was fatally taken out by the police in February in St. Thomas. Now, it is stated that as at July 12, knockings and clappings, the fatal ones, in the St. Andrew North Police Division has declined year to date. There were 19 compared to 33 for the corresponding period of 2024. This represents a 42% decline in fatal knockings and clappings. So continue to go and do it same way Jamaica. We are look for see Jamaica murder tally this year drop under 800, and that would definitely be an historical mark for Kevin Blake. Yeah, man. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, a policeman is presently behind bars following the 2020 fatal knockings and clappings of a bus conductor. Now the policeman can up and take the life of a bus conductor in Spanish Town, St. Catherine 5 years ago. Now he has been officially charged with the fatal knockings and clappings. So the policeman in question has since been identified as Jamoke Ingram. He was charged following a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The policeman was charged on Tuesday and placed before the courts, where he was granted bail at the sum of $800,000 with surety. He was ordered to return to court on October 7th, when the matter will again be mentioned. The policeman is charged in connection with the loss of life of a 24-year-old bus conductor identified as Alex Needham, otherwise known as Lexi. Now, it is alleged that sometime around 6:15 p.m. on the 1st of July 2020, Constable Ingram, who was attached to the Spanish Town police station, was on duty at the bus park when Needham was accosted. It is further alleged that a tussle ensued between both men, during which Needham was conned up by the constable, who later lost his life. Now, during the incident, the policeman was reportedly attacked and chopped on the hand with a machete by Needham's father, who was later charged with wounding with intent, but was freed in the courts in November of 2023. Now, following Needham's loss of life, an investigation was launched and a file compiled and sent to the Director of Public Prosecution, which resulted in the constable being charged with the loss of life of the conductor. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, where the St. Elizabeth Police says that scammers are fueling the violence in St. Elizabeth. Now, how long now, how much years now on the Spot News Media, I tell you, the regular members of Chan Public, say a data go on down at St. Elizabeth. Now, the St. Elizabeth Police Commander-in-Chief, I got to talk to you and tell you exactly where on the Spot News Media say for years. So we're going to hear from the commanding officer of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Coleridge Minter, who says several people have so far been charged in connection with these illicit activities. Now listen.
We continue to pay close attention to activities surrounding that of scamming. Since the start of this year, 8 individuals have been charged under the Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Special Provisions Act. And for the benefit of our listeners, we have a special unit that is called the Proactive Investigation Unit, PIU, that treats specifically with these persons who deal in these activities. As of July 9th, shootings are down by 46%, robbery is down by 54%, rape, we're seeing 13 cases as against 12 last year, an increase by 1. Murder is 7 versus 18, a reduction of 61%. The latest murder took place the last part of June at a particular nightclub in Santa Cruz. And again, that murder took place coming out of a conflict.
Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the troubled, war-torn, crime-riddled St. James Police Division, where 26-year-old Delroy Wright, otherwise known as Striker, said to be a common criminal from over Goat Pendeso in a flankers St. James. He has been officially charged by the police with the fatal knifing of a man and also robbery with aggravation following an incident at Barnett Street in the parish on Thursday, July 3rd. Now the man who was on the receiving end of them fatal knife wounds there has since been identified as 26-year-old Romario Budal, said to be a steward of Belmont in Anchovy, St. James. Now reports reaching on the Spot News media would suggest that sometime around 4:40 a.m. Romario Budal was awaiting a taxi when he was pounced upon by the criminal element identified as Delroy Wright, aka Striker. It is said that Striker was also in the company of another criminal element. Now both criminal elements were armed with knives. It is said that both men demanded the bag of Romario Budal, which was refused. It is said that Wright, along with his accomplice, used the knives for Ramson tab all over Romario Budal. It is said that they eventually took the bag, which contained 20,000 Jamaican dollars in cash and his cell phone valued at $24,000. Budal went to the Barnett Street police, where he was assisted to the hospital and admitted in critical condition. It is stated that on Saturday, July 5th, he succumbed to his injuries whilst undergoing treatment. Now, the criminal element Delroy Wright, aka Striker, was arrested during an operation on Saturday, July 12th and subsequently charged on Wednesday, July 16th following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Now, his court date is to be finalized. So right there and then, my peeps, another decent spot of work again by the squaddy them. Yeah, man. And still in the St. James Police Division, 40-year-old Carlton Greaves, said to be a maintenance worker of Danieltown in Trelawney, has been charged by the St. James Police in relation to the loss of life of a man along Thompson Street in St. James on Friday, May 2nd. Now, the man in question, who is now deceased, has since been identified as 41-year-old Damian Campbell, said to be a welder of Maroon Town in St. James. Now, reports reaching on the Spot News media would suggest that sometime around 7 p.m., the criminal element Carlton Greaves and the now deceased man Damian Campbell were engaged in an heated argument which became physical, and during the exchange of hot wood and some fists a fling all bout, it is said that Carlton Greaves pulled a knife and used it for knife up Campbell, that is Damian Campbell, all over his chest before fleeing the scene. Damian Campbell was, however, assisted to the hospital where he was admitted in a critical condition. And on Monday, May 5th, a relative of Campbell reported the incident to the police, who launched an investigation. And on Friday, May 16th, Campbell succumbed to his injuries whilst undergoing treatment. Now, the criminal element Carlton Greaves was arrested during an operation in Montego Bay Transport Center on Friday, July 11th. He was subsequently charged on Wednesday, July 16th, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Now, his court date is being finalized. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is still in the St. James Police Division, where the St. James Police seized this firearm presently on your screen, said to be a 6-Sawyer 9mm pistol with an empty magazine during an operation in the community of Birchill in Greenpond in the parish on Wednesday, July 16th. Now, according to reports from the Montego Bay Police, sometime around 3:30 p.m., lawmen searched the premises for wanted men. It is stated that during the search, the firearm was found concealed in a paint tin in a vegetated section of the property. No arrest was made by the police in relation to that particular find. Now the last thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, the police them seize over 44 million Jamaican dollars. Yeah, man. It is said that this money was seized by the Jamaica Constabulary Force through their anti-lottery scam campaign. The campaign, dubbed Scam Done, Justice A Run, was launched 41 days ago on the 5th of June. Now we are going to hear from Abigail Bartley, a nationwide news report, as she gives us a comprehensive look into that particular fine of the $44 million. Now listen.
The JCF's anti-lottery scam unit says since June 5, 24 persons have been arrested for breaching the Law Reform Act. They include 20 men and 4 women. The force says an additional $55,000 have been seized along with cash in other currencies. Some 20 high-end motor vehicles have also been seized, as well as 3 imitation firearms. More than 80 assorted rounds of ammunition and 15 pounds of cocaine were also confiscated. According to the JCF, the seizures were a result of 91 raids conducted by the unit. Those raids took place in St. James, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and Hanover. 5 persons were arrested in the most recent operation in Trelawney between July 10 and 12. 3 were subsequently charged. They are 19-year-old Jaquan Beckford, 60-year-old Maxine Walcott, and 27-year-old Christopher Cole. All 3 were charged with possession of identity information with intent and possession of an access device. Beckford, Walcott, and Cole were reportedly found with material containing the names and addresses of persons living overseas, as well as their credit card information.
So right there and then, my peeps, another decent spot of work again by the squad them. Yeah, man. So anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.